Closing the racial wealth gap has been an elusive task for Black America. At the start of the pandemic between February and April of last year, 40% of Black-owned businesses were forced to close for good, more than any other racial group during the same time period, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Now, newly released research from Duke University's Samuel Du Bois Cook Center for Social Equity revealed during the 10 years leading up to the 2020 pandemic, Black households gained the least amount of wealth regardless of social class or profession.
Having to rely only on earned income rather than having like a private social safety net, which is what we kind of refer to when we think about wealth, puts you in a very precarious situation.
The study found during the Great Recession, which lasted from 2007 to 2009, Black households lost 48% of their wealth, while white households lost just 26%. Dr. Fenaba Addo, one of the authors behind the study, says Black households did not rebound from the recession at the same rate as other racial groups because they were already in a much weaker financial state entering the recession.
Right. So if you don't have the existing assets or you don't have a way to kind of get in when the economy is taking off, then you can't build on the low wealth levels that you have.
The study also considers many Black households to be wealth poor, meaning they do not have enough money to support themselves for at least 3 months. While the proportion of wealth poor families fell across most racial and professional categories between 2010 and 2019, it actually increased for Black professionals. When these financial woes are compounded with a pandemic, it is a recipe for disaster for people already struggling. The pandemic revealed the economy's reliance on essential workers. A Brookings Institution study found Black and brown workers are overrepresented in frontline essential worker jobs, many of which are paid less than $15 an hour.
Depending on where one is in the country, anywhere from $7 to $15 an hour. And at $15 an hour, that's roughly $31,000 a year. And it's not possible for a family with children with a single income provider to live off $31,000 a year. Virtually impossible across the United States.
Dr. Mary Coleman is the Senior Vice President of Empath, a nonprofit organization that provides support and assistance for low-income families and help them out of poverty. Upon learning race, not job, predicts Black families' economic outcome in the study, Dr. Coleman points to the added burdens Black families carry with them, stemming from generations of discriminatory policies that leaves Black families struggling to gain a true financial independence.
What set of programs together offer the best opportunities for families to reach the middle class? And when families in the middle class get squeezed, as they do, because they have to compensate for past generations who've been discriminated against, their moms, their dads, their grandmoms.
Both Dr. Coleman and Dr. Addo believe better wage compensation and public policy must first be addressed to begin closing the racial wealth gap.
The question, I think, has to be, what is it that organizations, government, the private sector can actually do to lift families out of poverty, sustain those exits intergenerationally?
We just don't have the same stock of resources coming in, and there's no way that we can save our way or educate our way into kind of closing this massive gulf in racial wealth inequality.
Dr. Addo goes a step further and suggests opportunity accounts and reparations should also be a part of the conversation to reverse the widening wealth gap.
Opportunity accounts, baby bonds kind of thing, like giving trust accounts to families and households, all households, but we know because Black households are disproportionately wealth poor, it would help a lot more Black households if we think about providing some trust, some kind of initial wealth very early on in life.
Reporting for Atlanta Black Star, I'm Cavante Smalls.